If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what does decision fatigue have to do with your sales presentation and your sales presentation budget? Why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Silverman-Bell, coming to you live from Haleiwa, Oahu, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you for HVAC technicians' sales secrets. When you think in terms of conversation and you think in terms of budget, one of the things that I talk a lot about is a sales presentation budget. One of the things that I haven't talked a lot about is a question budget. What decision fatigue is there's only so many questions that you can answer in a day before you don't feel like you're making a good decision. So Steve Jobs, people talk about him wearing the same thing all day, every day. That was to reduce decision fatigue. It was one less decision for him to make. Now, if he had somebody make meals for him and prep his meals, that's two less decisions for him to make. If he's only got one car to drive and he's got one route to work, that's one less decision to make. So all the small decisions add up into having the ability to make a really good decision. And there's times where you meet with people and they're like, I want to think about it. And sometimes that's not induced from your presentation. It could be induced from you asking too many questions or them having too many questions in the day, okay? So when you start thinking in terms of, wait, I only have so many questions that I could ask, there's only so many ways that I could do this, yes. And there are people who go out and build rapport and they're like, oh, you got a picture of Waimea Bay, tell me about that. What do you like about Waimea Bay? I'm like, that's one. Well, when's the last time you were there? That's two. And then they go down this path of asking questions and they don't realize that they're taking away from the question budget. They're taking away from like how many questions that they can answer, okay? So if you take a standard sales presentation where you've got the intro phase, rapport phase, discovery phase, presentation, price, concerns / objections, and then wrap up, there is a point where you're like, okay, how many questions am I going to ask? And if I only have a budget, where am I going to ask those questions? Where are the most pertinent? Because if you induce decision fatigue, that person that you're meeting with, you're not doing them any favors, and they can come back and give you a concern, aka objection, that you freaking induced. Okay? Now here's the thing. If you want to be better at sales, you want to be good at what you do, you should absolutely join my email publication. Go right here, type it into a browser, drop in your name, your email address, maybe your phone number. I'll give you the goods. Not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training. It's an email publication. You will freaking love it. And occasionally I try to sell you stuff. All right. So couple things for you. Let's say that you're meeting with somebody first thing in the morning. You probably have more variance for your ability to ask questions because they haven't been asked questions all day long, right? So this is one of the reasons why, like me personally, if I got a big important day, I limit the amount of people that I need to talk to and interact with because I don't want it to influence my ability to not make a good decision. As you're going through the day and as people have had tough days, start listening for clues. Start listening for those opportunities where people tell you, man, it's been a long day. Somebody tells me it's been a long day. I'm going to look at my question budget and I'm going to go, I'm hands down only going to ask the essential questions because I realize that when there's body fatigue, there's also mental fatigue. It's my role and responsibility to pay attention to what's going on and what my question count is. Like in baseball, you know, you got balls and strikes and you got who's on base and who's not on base. You should be paying attention to these things. Like how many questions am I asking in my presentation, right? And are they in depth? And are they something where somebody has to really think? Are they yes questions? Are they no questions? Are they complex questions? A complex question is when somebody says, hey, I'm curious to what color your favorite car is. And then there's a secondary question and what your favorite motor is. And then there's a third question, what color of interior you want? Like, oh my goodness. You're asking me way too many questions, okay? You're asking me, and it's overwhelming for some people. And what will happen is slowly that decision fatigue is going to sneak in, and you're like, oh, I asked a ton of questions in the intro phase. I asked a ton of questions in the rapport phase and the discovery phase. They get burned out in the presentation phase, and they're like, just email me a proposal. You could be inducing decision fatigue, and I will share with you that in a sales slump, salespeople either A, drag the sales presentation out and they ask a ton of freaking questions, or B, they streamline it so much that there's no questions, which is a danger in itself. Like this is a two-sided coin. You could ask way too many questions. Yes, you can ask way too many questions. I'm pointing at you. And then the truth is too, you can ask not enough. So there's times that you learn, but you also got to pay attention that when you're in emotional distress, when you are struggling yourself, the tendency is to go down the path of asking so many freaking questions that you induce decision fatigue, and then you created the objection, aka the concern, and it's your fault and it should not have happened. There you go. Decision fatigue and the decision fatigue budget. You got to know that, you know, you have a question budget in your sales presentation, and if you're asking too many, you got a problem. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.